Vasistha continued, whatever one constantly contemplates, whatever constantly occupies one's mind, and to whatever one is devoted with all his life, that he knows to be real and obvious. This is how we construct our reality. We keep reinforcing our understanding. There are some people who've got something called obsessive compulsive disorder, and we can see in them quite clearly how their obsessions create their reality. It's a vicious circle. But we all do it. We all do it all the time in our own way. We're constantly taking little cues which construct our own understanding of reality. We need that affirmation, we need that confirmation from moment to moment that this is how reality is. But this is our cage, this is our bondage. It's quite important, therefore, to consider those parameters by which we're reinforcing our reality. So, for example, if you watch a lot of news programs, well, news programs only give you a particular type of news. It's usually bad news. And we understand that news is about being informed. News is about being informed about the world, about the reality of the world. So when we watch the news or we read a newspaper, we like to tell ourselves that we're keeping informed. But what we're having is a particular picture of the world presented to us. And it's a bad picture. So this is creating our reality for us. And we're buying into it. Of course, people will handle the news that the world is a very bad place in different ways. But it's still part of our compulsive reinforcing of our reality. When the mind is saturated with consciousness of Brahman, it becomes that. Whatever the mind loves most, it becomes that. Whatever the mind is addicted to, it becomes that. The mind becomes whatever it's addicted to. So really, you want to be addicted to the most wonderful thing possible. The mind is addictive by nature. So what we can do is change what we're addicted to. I've often mentioned that we have to give up our addictions and our fetishes, which is something which is easy to say, but when presented with that challenge, it might throw you further into your addictions. But what if we can transfer that addictive power? What if we can transfer that addictive power to something else? In fact, this is what we need to do. This is what we need to do. We find something else that we enjoy, something less negative, something less limiting, and we get addicted to that. And we can call that love. We can call it love for the divine. We can call it love of Brahman. So rather than just thinking about Brahman when we watch this video, or do a little practice maybe once a day, it's something that we can saturate our lives in. Of course, Brahman isn't something that you think about. Brahman is something that you realize. But when you're not in a state of realization, then by all means think about it. By all means contemplate it. And whenever possible, realize it. When one's mind rests in the supreme reality or the infinite consciousness, then one engages himself in righteous activity without being interested in the activity itself for its own sake. By connecting with Brahman, by realizing your nature as Brahman, then you go beyond the limited ego personality. You're no longer functioning in the world with limiting aims. When this objective universe itself does not exist, or when one cannot affirm or deny its existence, it is not possible to determine who is the doer of actions and the enjoyer of experiences. If somebody is hypnotized, can we call them a doer of actions? They've clearly been fed a false reality, and they're acting in accordance with it. But in a way we can say, well, they're not a doer of actions because the basis of their reality is false. And this is the state of samsara. We're living in false, constructed notions of reality. So in what way are we a doer of actions? Liberation is when we realize we are not a doer of actions. When you're in a dream, are you a doer of actions? You do things in your dream, don't you? You're not sitting there inert in your dream. You're getting on with things, you're doing things. But are you really a doer of actions? These things don't matter. We just get on with it. We just get on with what needs to be done, or with what we're inclined to do. What is commonly known as Brahman, the creator, or Buddhi, the awakened intelligence, etc., is itself the infinite consciousness, which is absolutely pure. Buddhi isn't necessarily the awakened intelligence, it's just the discriminating intelligence. But you can realize that it's part of consciousness, the working of consciousness, and so it is essentially pure. Everything is of the nature of consciousness, and this consciousness is completely unaffected by anything that is going on. It is completely independent of our moods. It's completely independent of any judgment or category or conceptualization that we might impose on it. The peace in the sky is pure void. So it's like the sky. The sky is the sky no matter what the weather that is going on. No matter the weather which is happening at the moment. The sky is still the sky. We can understand this as peace. It's undisturbed. The appearance of duality in all these is illusory and non-existent. Therefore, diversity is a meaningless concept.